This happened last time, but no, it shifted though, because now, oh no, shit, it's still me and Riley on this side, but he's on top, and it's still. How does that happen?
It's the way of the world.
It's just the balance of the way things go.
It knows.
So for those of you who are here, welcome. This is Carpets and Coffee, where we do nothing scheduled, but it has a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
There's no script, but there is a script.
It's a show about nothing.
There's no plans, but we have ideas and plans.
Yes,
I have ideas.
And we're actually very blessed this time around because
you had me
for
for
30 member.
Give me
The
for
fourth
30
member
minutes.
of the band is here.
You're actually leaving?
I have to.
Yeah,
I have a barbecue with my sisters, but I'm like, it's a Monday and I'm not working. I'm gonna be here for 30 minutes and try to at least fuck up as much as possible and then leave. Yeah.
So some of our folks in the chat and folks that'll be viewing this will also maybe have some deja vu going, because last night we did our patron private Q&A live stream, and that was a ton of fun. That one we went almost to the limit, to the point where they were going to kick us off, and they kept threatening to kick us off, and then they didn't, so we stuck around longer and then we finally left. So but yeah, that one. So if you're not a member of the MPR Inland Carpet Python tier of Patreon, that gives you exclusive access to a once monthly Q&A, and then we're also gonna have I think try and get backlog access to episodes that are slowly kind of getting removed from certain sites as exclusive access. So that's gonna happen too. So if that's something you're interested in, go check out Patreon, look up Morelia Python Radio on there, and join and support these guys. Right? Oh wait, I got to do it like this. Let's see if I can do it. Nope.
This guy, that guy. What? Shit. And the other thing is, I think we should have a diamond tier where we'll have director commentary to older episodes of, like, I don't know what I was thinking here. Please forgive me. And that would just be a constant.
That would be funny.
Director's cut. Yeah. If we have all that, but
that would be funny.
Yeah.
So more tiers to come. But if even if you just want to send them $5 a month, just to keep them going, keep the fire alive, tell them you love what they're doing, what they've been doing for the last decade, then
I need constant support or I will go away. So yeah.
It was funny. I was actually Lucas was out working with me on Saturday, and we went and got lunch. And I was telling him about
iced tea on your car. I'm so sorry.
Dude, you can't even tell. It's like water.
That is not the worst thing, because let's put it this way.
I still feel bad.
It ain't sticky. It doesn't smell.
That's good. That's good. Way back when I was driving a Ford Fiesta, and I went and picked up a Jag at Eric's house. And this is constantly what happens is that's why Eric can't follow me out to my car anymore, because then we'll spend another hour in his driveway or parked. And so we pack up my car, and then we're just out there talking, and then we look over and the Jag is loose, just wicking around in the car, and I'm like,
I remember that.
I'm like, we should get that.
Just doing this.
It was derping around.
It was doing a lot. It was okay. So
in our brief car ride to lunch, I was recapping a time how 3 years ago you guys almost, or maybe it was more than 3 years ago, almost stopped doing NPR because of a certain group of bastards and assholes.
That wasn't Eric. That was mainly me.
Well, one way or the other, there was a really shitty divide in the community at that point, with some new folks with big mouths and little brains that almost push you guys to the point of being just so annoyed and so over it.
Yeah,
it had the idea floated for a moment. And I'm so glad it didn't, because like 3 years later, here we are, and you guys are still making magic.
Well,
it was stuff going.
Well, it was Luke. It was Eric came over. We filmed a couple stuff and we posted it on YouTube. And I just got rammed, and like it was people accusing my animals of having nidovirus, people accusing me of hiding it, people doing talking that I don't know anything I'm talking about, which is true. I really just muddle through.
But the ironic part is,
but don't point it out.
Most of the people who were saying that had literally just gotten into carpet pythons that year.
Yep.
And were running their mouths.
And that's the there was, I think there was at one point.
And his videos sucked.
Yeah, well, there were people wondering why I didn't get my ass kicked at Tinley, to the point where like one of my friends was nothing to do with snakes. He's like, "What'd you do in Chicago?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like, I don't." I would be totally like if I remembered, I would tell you, but like I don't know if I rub. And then my mind is like, did I rub somebody the wrong way? Did somebody get the wrong impression? Did I piss somebody off by accident? So, and I never want to do that. Never want to do all that stuff. So there was a whole week there where every day I was prepping how I was going to tell Eric that I'm quitting. And it was like every day. And then I would be like, I'll tell him tomorrow. And then it kept moving. Yeah. The stick kept moving. So,
well, I'm glad you didn't. And I'm glad it's still around. And I think everyone in the chat can vouch for that. And the people who were running their mouths are no longer even involved in the community, and most of their names never were remembered in the first place. And here you are with a decade of MPR and an entire global audience. So they can go suck it.
You can't defend something that's not real. So
I think
like Sasquatch.
I think the the whole thing with that is like, I learned that if you don't have people that don't like you, you're probably not doing something right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was the advice Nick gave at me, because I talked to him during that week. And he's like, if you're not pissing somebody off, you ain't doing it right. I'm like, okay.
I don't let it affect me. You know, I mean, it
is troubling.
It's
like
tough.
It sucks. It
It's
sucks
tough.
to feel like you've offended or hurt somebody potentially, even if you disagree with what they're complaining about. Like it's kind of a shitty feeling inside. So like I get that.
Yeah, 100%. But like, I don't know. Like I just
screw them.
What the fuck is up with this right here? Because yesterday, first off, it's a capital I, sir. But I was when we were comparing yesterday, Riley, and I went like this. I'm like, oh, that shit's long. So I got a haircut and I trimmed it, and now apparently Lucas is the sentient beard of like. I don't understand what's happening.
You guys, I've been changing it this whole time. In the green room, it said my name a Borat.
Oh no.
Someone learned a new trick, and now he must be beaten.
I thought he's pointing to the chat, but he's pointing to Owen.
Lucas.
It takes me a while.
All right. Well, and oh, by the way, Riley, you were upgraded to intern 1 yesterday because Lucas kept messing up. So hopefully you keep it longer than he did. I forget how long he had it.
I feel like I should
had
always
2,000 points.
Yeah,
I should always
well.
outrank him as his manager of employment.
Lucas, you're back to intern 1 now, because I like the idea of that. I like the idea of that. Like at one point, Riley's the boss, and then like they leave the building and like it flips. Like so,
name tag comes off.
It flips it off.
He hasn't got his master's degree yet, so we're still even. We're both bachelor's degree.
After a certain point, he's gonna know more than like me and Eric, and we're gonna be like, "So, intern, can you do things for us?" It's like,
what do they call it? The student has become the master.
Yeah.
Well, you have all heard of the rule of 2, have you not?
Exactly. So you'll have to kill Riley.
Huh?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. No, you're good, Riley. It's okay.
I'm not sure I can be killed. My blood, when it glows electric red, and when like monitors scratch the crap out of. Like I got bit by this tokay and I was bleeding all over the counter, and my coworker's like, "What's wrong with your blood? It's really like electric red, like it's glowing. Well, that's not right." And they thought I had like Spider-Man powers.
Will you seek medical attention, please?
No, I want to be Spider-Man, dude.
That's not how that works. You're probably anemic. Will you please just go to a doctor? Like it's,
or he's a human alien hybrid.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, either way, he's not right. Like, let's just all admit one thing. Everybody who meets Riley, they're like, he's a cool guy, and then after about a month, you're like, well, he's not right. Something wrong. But we still keep him around because he's funny.
Aww. Don't be mean to Riley.
Yeah, what's all this negativity, man?
I think we need a virtual group.
This isn't how we roll.
What he's doing is he's concentrating all his shots in the first 30
I have to
minutes
get them all out now because I got to leave.
Eric, hold me. This is a dark place.
I did drink this, and normally I've not been drinking coffee. It's not good. So.
Yeah.
This is usually a lot more chiller. When
All right, well then
ch-
guide me. I am your guest here. Like, you know.
All right.
Well, so yeah, actually, so we do actually have a few things that we do on Carpets and Coffee every week that Eric has kind of made fun segments and really cool shit.
Okay.
And so he does have some things that every show we try and, inject into there somehow. If it doesn't flow randomly, it just happens. But yeah, it's a lot of free flowing random thought and a lot of discussions, but it also has to, we kind of touch on a lot of the stuff that has been going on recently.
Yeah.
And Eric so kindly collected a lot of those thoughts. He does it much better than me. And every time I'm always like, man, I really should be a little more organized like this, because this is always impressive. So should we just dive right into it and hit the top of your list and let's just go?
Yeah.
All right.
Stop teasing. Just
I think
do it.
I think we should start with the greatest thing of all is the albino citrus tigers.
Oh. It's like, I don't see that note in there.
So I dug up these two pictures here. I don't know if I sent these to you. I guess I didn't, but I'm going to share them here live as we go. Right. So these are the caramel citrus tigers, right?
Right.
That I produced. Let's see. So this one is a caramel.
Top one.
This one is not. So you can see like they both kind of have that red tinge to them, but that one is a little bit. It almost looks like this one shed and this one
that one didn't. Yeah, that's what I would. That if you had told me like no other context, I would have been like, well, one still needs to shed, right? So that makes some sense.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so now imagine my extra added layer of challenge in knowing that they're at least like
Darwin
more
blood
than
in there
50% Darwin. Yeah. So their color spectrum is a little bit different, but there's a third one shedding right now. Two of the hets have shed, and they have sort of two different looks.
Can you pop up the pictures of Riley's, because I was looking at them earlier?
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, those should be
do stuff.
Should be in the
on screen, like it is.
Let's.
Okay, Mr. No Patience Pants.
Yeah, right.
Engage.
Louise. Yes. If I had, if my co-host, you would think would do things.
I have
like
nothing.
This,
This is no. This isn't my show. I don't really. I have nothing to do here.
Everyone's show, Owen.
Oh God.
All right. So first, let's
show.
Let's put the albino up. I'm gonna share that first because look at that thing. Holy hell!
What the one with like the spot pattern like going down its back?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Just really close.
Yeah,
there's the other one. Yeah,
that's really nice.
I like.
Even
that.
I like that.
I don't know why, but
man.
It looks like I could eat it.
What?
Like strawberry starburst,
I mean, all carpets are edible. I just don't think you really want to.
The contrast on this thing is
it's going to be killer when it gets big.
Yeah.
Very
cool. Odd thing with the citrus tiger, right? You notice how it's like striping all the way, and then all of a sudden, like at the last, it's dots.
And then you got some bands trying.
Yeah.
So
they're either fully striped all the way down like that, and then go to some banding, or they have the clean portholes all the way down.
Your
heads
heads
show it off better.
I would say your heads are disgusting looking, because it's like they have. The one hat you were showing today, I'm pulling up the picture right now of like the stripe that thing had was insane. And I'm like, if only that was in the that one. Like that is awesome.
Yeah.
That one's nicer.
That one's a caramel, I think.
Why the hell did the hats get the stripe? Like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But the only one of the albinos has shed, and they're all striped.
It's gonna be.
It'll take a few more sheds to like really cleanly be able to see it and photograph it noticeably in the albinos. The hets are going to show off from day one.
Immediately.
They're wicked. They're so badass. They have so much contrast, even though they're so much Darwin blood in there.
Eric, you've hatched albinos. I suck at it.
Yep.
How? Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This
Yes,
is true.
yeah, go on.
Acknowledge.
Keep going.
Carry on.
I'm listening.
No, let's discuss more of
No,
Owen's
let's keep
failures.
going. Come on.
Now we're
This
talking.
is a safe place. I enjoy this stream of conversation. When do the because with carpets it's weird. It's like you think they're doing like that the colors are great and awesome, and then right around like their year 1 mark they shed and you're like, holy shit, like totally everything just changes on them. And it's like, do albinos take longer or shorter because it's less color to really kind of just impress?
So my experience, and I have only done crosses so far with albinos, is that it's sort of they go through. It's sort of like what you would see in a jungle carpet, right? As it sort of ages, the color comes in. But I think when they're small, the issue is always that, like I think Riley was saying this yesterday, they're sort of like right before they're going to shed, they just turn like this solid pink. And
you can't really
I
tell.
don't pee on the computer.
And then the exciting thing is like when they shed, it's like you have this new snake or something,
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. So yeah, I don't really know.
Nice. It's biting you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is not a happy baby.
Oh yeah.
This MI clutch did not get the nice part of it. As far as good behavior all around, they have no problem biting.
So this is just a straight citrus tiger head albino. Actually, this is from the clutch from your
the mom, right?
Yours, Riley.
I think I need more of them.
So you can see
I have one that's going horribly not to good use over here. So
the thing I liked about this one and why I kept this one is you can see that it doesn't have as much banding at the tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sort of kind of got rid of that. So I was kind of excited for
that's
that.
what I love about tigers. You're looking at it and you see the dots going down the sides, and a layman would be like, well, it's not there. I'm like, no, the stripes are there. They're trying to connect. It's like,
Yeah.
So like one breeding, and all of a sudden you can have 3 stripes fully formed going all the way down the snake if you pick the right boy. So
Now with my this is my original male citrus tiger. I haven't bred him with to make albinos because I usually used an albino to the female, but I think what's going to really stand out with the I think what's really going to stand out with the albino is all this like kind of like gray,
yeah.
So this is going to be white, right?
Yeah.
The black will be white, and then
And
it'll
then-
be outlined with white, and then this will be, you'll see those portals pop, and then this will be, I think, lavender.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Like, I
You know
really
what I
hope
mean?
that. Well, obviously, you said black is on that snake. All the black parts are going to be white.
Right.
I think all like the
They
gold
are.
yellow parts are going to be yellow.
Yeah.
But everything else is like that's the thing is why this kind of morph project doesn't work on like a Burmese python, because then it's like, oh, it's yellow and white all the way.
Right.
Oh.
Darwin's and carpets kind of lend more colors, lavender, pinks, things like that. So it's still going to be kick ass like a pattern. So
Yeah.
I really want to. I'll be excited when the other 5 albinos shed out, so I can
Mhm.
really see, because there are 2 that when they were first out of the egg, not only to the eye but even in photographs were less contrasted, and those are the 2 that I feel like are probably not caramel albinos. There's 3 that I have questions on, so like I'll double check, but they don't have as much contrast, and they are more pink and white, whereas the ones that I'm pretty confident have caramel are like orange, lavender, and like a little bit of pink in there. And you're dead on, Eric, that negative space behind all the portals where it's gray.
Yep.
And this first one that shed out, it stayed lavender, which is
Yeah.
I don't
So
know, we'll
I think
see.
it's going to be, and this was this is the one het that I held back, and you can see where that hold on, I'll put it up.
it's going to
This
take
is
time.
after its second shed.
Yeah.
There. So you can see how that
Mhm.
like it looks burnt almost,
Yeah.
that'll look orange and real pretty in an albino.
Yeah, it's going to take time, and it's going to be hellishly hard to photograph. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much. So
yeah, because they'll look their best at like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, I mean, do black backgrounds. It's the only way. Like that's the only fucking way.
Yep.
If you put that animal on a white background, it's going to be like little red eyes, and that's all we're going to be able to see.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
I have good points every once in a while.
What's funny about
and
that?
I reward you for them.
Thank you.
What's funny is like, I had those hets, and I still have like a majority of them. I think Owen, you have one, and Riley, you have another, and I think that's it. I have the rest of them.
So
and
for everyone listening, hit up Eric for some pets before they're gone.
I mean, if you want the building blocks, they're already here. Like it's.
But I had them on my website for the longest time, and like nobody cared. But now they will.
Of course,
better.
Yeah.
It's you finally see the end product, and that's why everybody jumps all over it. I mean, of course somebody's going to care now.
Well, and I hope also Chris Salemi has success with his pair.
Oh, he's another one. He has he's another one. Yeah,
he's got a het female, I think, and
het male.
Het male, and he's been breeding it to a rather stripy albino Darwin, I believe.
Yeah, he had what I would say. So I was very curious on how his was going to turn out because it was it looked very different.
You got the other look, right? The more banded. Yeah.
His has a nice stripe on it, but it's more like it's more like the Satch, if you will. Like it's a darker. It doesn't have as much of that gray, right? It's more solid. So
I would say my female's kind of like the same. She's got a lot more black on her, and she's also heavily banded by the rear. And I'm just hoping I have my Darwin male that I've been trying to breed her with, and I was actually thinking about this year either cashing out and letting the project, like sending her to Riley or something like that, but I might just hit up Eric and be like, do you still have a het male kicking around? Because then it'd be here, like just toss them together and be like, make those and see what happens.
Do it, man.
I'm actually, I was thinking, Riley, you have a female, right? Yeah, female. Okay.
Yeah, I have a male. You sent me a male.
Oh, okay.
You did send me a male. It's it's the other look. It's the more burnt orange coming up the sides, not the portholes with the gray, more of the pinstripe and banded. So I've got him, and I do want to put him over this female because I want to see what a citrus tiger back to a citrus tiger looks without any other things sort of convoluting and messing with what I could be seeing. Like I'll just know it's hets and visuals. Don't have to, decipher anything else other than seeing what the two looks going together results in and how that contributes to an albino. Because I don't think you would get the same color spectrum as these ones. I think you would get just as good contrast, but I don't think you'd get the crazy oranges that I think the caramel is putting in.
You want to pile it up, double it down, see what happens. Yeah.
My goal with the citrus tiger stuff was always to make, like you had this, you had like with Jags, you have gamma. Right. And like that translates over and over and over and over again into those projects, whether it's crosses or just making other, gamma Jags or whatever. But, to do that in the tiger form, right? To me, the citrus tigers was like the gamma version of the citrus or the gamma version of a tiger. You know what I mean? And like you're getting that crazy color and the contrast. So that was always my goal, was to try to sort of take that line and sort of make it like that, try to cross it into various stuff and all. Like, I don't know. I have hets and I don't know what they're going to do, but I bred them to granite stuff.
Well, no, I have to stop getting that eye twitch when you do that kind of crap because it's all going to be together. Well, that's the other thing is like, we kind of touched on this yesterday. Will you see a reinsurgence of these projects? Because if the new book comes out and Jungles and Coastals are the same fucking thing, like this Hycon, Citrus Tiger, all that stuff, now it's pure. Now it's a thing. Now people who are on the fence about this stuff,
it's pure.
now it is.
Now it's pure.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point.
And Owen gets redemption finally.
I had an HCQ that I gave to my coworker for free.
Oh man.
So,
I was like, oh, it's Jungle and Coastal.
Jungle Coastal?
Take this. Before they take away my carpet card. I need to get
now all the regulations. We're burning the book of regulations. So I mean, basically,
I don't know. I don't know.
Now it becomes a line bred. Now it's Eric's line bred albinos, tigers.
Well, I didn't breed them. Riley did.
Yeah, but it's your line.
So here's the thing.
It's your shit.
Eric kind of owns the rights to it, in my opinion, because he bought pretty much the entire project from Wilbur.
That was infuriating. Yeah,
he's been the one. He's been the one that
I want this tiger sold. EB, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he bought all of them and then kept them and then paired some, made the first group, and then took those, and he's doing his stuff with them. And so after that first generation, every step afterwards can, to me, qualifies it as his line. All I've done is just taken the pieces that he's made and just put them together. I would have to then take that a step further, reproduce it of my own creative approach that is different to his, and do that 2 more times in order for me to have a deviant line that stems and originates from his.
Right.
That's how I feel it.
It's your line, take it, or I will. All right.
I'm curious of where do you want to take the project, Riley? Like, where do you see, like, what's your next step for you?
I have,
besides breeding it back to citrus.
Yeah.
Right. I want to do a citrus tiger hat to a citrus tiger hat without any caramel or anything. See how that goes. Yeah. Eventually I want to do a citrus tiger hat to a visual from this clutch. And then I also want to put, if I still have him down the line, because he's just been sitting here doing nothing for 6 years. Eventually I want to see what a super caramel citrus tiger looks like. So I've got a male caramel that is, in my opinion, the epitome of an A+ quality caramel animal. It comes from Nick Mutton's stock. Travis produced it for me, right. Produced a bunch of them years ago, and just phenomenal animals. Unfortunately, I lost the female, who was even stellar, just amazing. She just spontaneously up and died. So I think I'd like to see what a super caramel citrus tiger looks like, although it would take some proving out, but I really want to put more contrast on the black and yellow in the normal version, and then somehow bring more of that into the albino stuff later on.
Gotcha. You can branch it because there's several projects. I mean, you might start building. I like the idea of getting less caramel or no caramel and just seeing what that takes you, but you can start building and trying to push the lavender stuff. And I mean, if we can have things like lavender Cali Kings, like lavender albino Cali Kings, that it's mostly not white, it's mostly lavender, you can push for that. And then you can try to see what that does.
I also think injecting hypo into the citrus tiger.
Now you've gone too far, and I think
it'll be stupid.
Say no. Yes. So, I agree.
I think if you could do a caramel a hypo Balin tiger, something like that, a hypo tiger of some good caliber to a citrus tiger, just a really nice non-albino related citrus tiger, I think that would be just nuts.
Go ahead. I mean, I also think we're just still scratching the surface when it comes to things like hypo tigers and things like that, because people have just been like tiger and then breeding it to that thing.
And here we go.
Now, I think people have just been taking hypos and breeding them to the tigers that they have available. Balin has been taking hypos and breeding them to the original line tigers, which are like those bone white tigers. So that really just has the hypo color and no yellow, kind of mixing it all up. So you can kind of go a little bit further with that. So it's just in a couple more years, we're going to have insane hypo tigers, caramel tigers. So putting those kind of things with insane citrus tiger albinos is just going to bring it all to another level. But now I will pause so Eric can talk about this.
My next step with the citrus tigers is to see what happens when you inject the red into them. So my feeling is, right, because citrus tigers are, have that questionable animal. Is it a jungle? Is it a coastal? Is it a Karos? Whatever. My feeling is that it's going to produce something similar to this.
Yeah.
But imagine that color, right?
Yeah.
But striped. It just would be insane.
Well, imagine hypo will do that.
Yeah, but imagine that animal, but white and lavender and stuff like that. Like, imagine that with the albino Like I wouldn't like.
So I think
Yeah.
the red is going to make the color.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you put the hypo into it? It's going to take away the black, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like, to me, I want to try the red first because I don't necessarily. I want to like have that contrast, so I don't necessarily want to lose that to see what that is, and then I would take that red, and then cross the hypo into it and see what happens. You know,
What do you think about me down the line putting an exantic tiger to one of these caramel albino citrus tigers?
Well, and then we're talking a ghost project, essentially. Kind of.
Well, I would think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? You know, one of the things that used to like get me going when I was into ball pythons was when they would take like pastel exanic. Yeah, you know, what's that?
When I was into ball pythons, when the hell did I miss something?
Yeah.
Well, no. What you talk about on this show?
No. When I first got back into
all right,
whatnot, you know, I did
the dark days.
Into
I got
the
it.
world into the ball pythons, but you know,
Yeah.
I just sort of like you know, I just didn't do it for me anyway. But the thing was, and this is where I kind of disagree with Nick. I know what he's saying. Man, my allergies are bad today. God damn. I understand what he's saying when as far as like if you're, you know, exanic is taking yellow away, why would you breed it to something yellow? But I think that like the coolest exantic stuff that I've seen is stuff that's had yellow in it. You know,
Right.
like look at exantic jungles in Australia. To me, they're just crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful. Yeah.
So when you have the black, you have that gray, and you have the yellow in a citrus tiger, to me, if you're going to put that exantic into it, that animal is going to be, it's just going to pop.
It's gonna be like a porcelain white.
There's so many directions you could go with.
I think so you know how you see snows that are more like white with just that little bit of off-white yellow peeking through on some?
Yeah.
I think an exanic caramel, or maybe not caramel, just an exanic citrus tiger, it'll be white and yellow, but the white will almost look blue, I think. Blue or lavender.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that it's going to be snows in certain forms of carpets. I think are going to resemble more like snows in corn snake, where you can see the pattern and there's pinks and greens and stuff like that on the pattern as well. Not like, you know, just straight up white snake or something like that. So if we can, if there's colors that can be altered, enhanced, and made more, we can play around with that kind of stuff. So you can do a lot, to be honest with you.
It's my only crazy Dr. Frankenstein project that I've got going on.
Good. I have many now.
I kind of like.
It's refreshing, to be honest, man. I compare it to my not currently newfound, but like 2 years ago or a year ago, when I first got corn snakes after keeping snakes for like 20 plus years, I finally decided to get corn snakes. I was like, dude, these things are freaking awesome. And the whole morph madness of it all doesn't stress me out for some reason in corn snakes. And it's just kind of refreshing. It's like, I'm just going to make some, see what comes out. And doesn't matter what it is. If it looks cool, it looks cool.
It's the Owen McIntyre school of corn snakes. Just put them together. Whatever comes out, that's a corn snake.
It is what it is.
It is what it's a corn snake. Good enough.
But this will be a much more substantial project. It'll be, you know, years growing these up, breeding them, years raising up double hets, breeding them. That, you know, that's 10, 15 years potentially. If my track record holds true, it takes a long time for me to get some projects, especially albino stuff, going.
I still haven't, but on this note though, I'm getting text messages because unfortunately I'm supposed to bring the beer to my father.
Ooh.
So
oh my,
you're an important man today.
I am. So I'm gonna go. I have to go bring Jim his rolling rock.
We can't have Jim without rolling
his
rock.
medicine.
I mean,
I have to go bring him his medicine. Otherwise, he's just gonna be wandering around my sister's place wondering what's happening. So I
give
will
him a hug from all of us.
I will.
Jim from Morgantown.
I will catch up with you guys later. Have fun. And next time I'm off on a Monday, I'll come back. So
sounds good.
All right, bye guys.
See you later.
All right.
Wow. Did anybody else just kind of like feel a shift in the winds? A change in the.
It's 100 degrees here, and I'm sitting in my snake room. I don't feel any wind. Damn it!
I feel lighter.
I feel sticky and sweaty.
I'm just kidding.
Freaking hot here.
Well, it's like
Just kidding.
it's like I feel like you know, sometimes Owen's like he has to like like say all he can say in as much like he has like this little bit of time to say stuff. So he just says stuff as fast as he can, and he just wants to say stuff because he's so excited, and he doesn't want to stop talking. It's like, oh my god, take a breath, dude! I love that guy, but
Yeah,
Of course, that's the best.
do you think certain? Okay, we got a question here. Maybe we can hit on this real quick. Do you think certain lines of Xanthics and carpets could have some anery linkage? It seems that most Xanthics don't hold any red either.
Well, you got to look at where you're getting your Xanthic stuff from, because if you're getting your Xanthic stuff from Nick and his Swedish line, none of that is related to any of the red coastal stuff. So that's definitely going to look different than the stuff that I have in here from Ryan Dumas, because that has red tiger in its lineage, and you can see that. And I've hatched out animals that look like red tigers. I sold a female that was like, I didn't label it as a red tiger, but the thing was red. And it had Xanthic. So I think it just depends on what's been mixed into the lineage of your animals. I don't know. Are there different lines of Xanthic in coastal? I thought it was all sort of one European group, and then everybody sort of did with it what they did.
It's one line. I think the Australian stuff definitely looks different.
Yes.
You know, they definitely have a different line of Xanthic, which to me, I think sometimes their line might actually look better. But you know, I don't know. Maybe
I think everything in Australia has its own like trajectory that is so different from the United States. I mean, we talk about it with the Australians, how our diamonds look so different and stuff. I just think that they're selectively bred in different directions because of where they've ended up, and that's the major difference. Yeah,
they have more.
They have more blood over there.
Yeah. They have more variety and stuff like that. They can play with.
Our stuff just looks different.
Lucky bastards.
But they can't keep corn snakes, even though apparently there's a wild population of corn snakes out there somewhere.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
that's bad news. Bad news bears.
Yeah, Craig's line.
His Xanthics are extreme phenotypic examples of what that does. They're amazing.
So I think before we delve into the
meat and potatoes,
the other stuff, I just wanted to. I said I would share these pictures real quick with. So these are diamond. These are from Bumblebee Tuna.
Wow,
line, and they're just coastal diamonds, and
that stripe.
Yeah, I know, it's sick, isn't it? And all that fish netting and stuff. They're really cool, man. And you know, I don't know.
They have some historic value to them too.
Yeah, 100%. So Bumblebee Tuna was this crazy coastal diamond cross of some sort, and you see, it was bred to Will Bird's diamond coastal intergrades that he had, and that's what they produced. So I just love that color, man. It's like
that's
green,
gorgeous.
or just really cool snakes, you know.
Beautiful animals.
Nobody cares except me.
They're beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think if we could actually export, and then somebody was like, hey, I found this here. Here's the GPS coordinates. Technically, it's an intergrade. I think all of a sudden, if that were a thing, you would see the hobby accept those much more readily.
Yeah. To me, it's just a cool pet snake, man. I just really dig it. So
for sure.
I feel like the U.S. keepers they want the validation of it being something, and to actually be able to prove that it's a valid thing before they actually invest in keeping it and making it a valuable project. And it's not a morph, but it's not pure, so it's sort of in this gray area, and so everyone's kind of like, I don't really want to touch it.
Yeah, it really takes the wind out of the sails when people are just like, oh, so it's just a mutt, you know? It's like, well, yeah, but it's still pretty.
Yeah, and having hatched out these citrus tigers and looking at the hats and knowing that they're, coastal Darwin crosses, and just being absolutely in love with them, I'm like, dude, who cares?
Yeah,
these
man.
things are epic.
Yeah.
So,
but
that's why you just have your designated projects. You keep stuff going one way and you keep stuff going another way. They don't have to blend, and you can love both.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Mud lives matter.
I almost spewed my coffee on that one.
Yeah. I think I had to separate anurine from axanthic better, kind of like Mike with the ocelot jag. That's the other thing too. Like, I think you might get better color from the Papuan axanthic stuff, just because of Papuans having different color palette, if you will, than coastals. But I don't know. With the citrus tiger stuff, I would go with the. I don't want to mix another carpet into the mix, So if it turns out that, coastals and jungles and all that stuff are really just the same thing, then I guess I would try to keep it like that, even though there's albino in it or whatever, and, all that stuff. But
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. What, hold on. Okay.
Hello?
So I thought this would. I just started listening to it. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but Animals at Home podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also just kind of got like first half hour or so.
Yeah. So Dan, I actually met him at Carpet Fest, and he was in love with my Angolan pythons, and
nice.
He just he was just obsessed with them, and he did I got to give him kudos, man, because he kind of like put stuff out there with, knowing that the way that sometimes the world can be, where they kind of shoot back at you with negativity and all that kind of stuff. But he talked about Burmese python that he had that basically had a heart attack, and obesity and big snakes was kind of the topic, because he had this Burmese python that was basically he thought was overweight,
right,
when he compared it to, like, say, other big snake keepers, or if you will, and then not really thinking that it was as much as overweight as it was, and then it just died. So he did a necropsy on it, and like couldn't believe the fat that was in that snake. And I think of Matt Somerville's post a while back where he had that snake that ate like 3 mice and still had all these fat bodies on it. And like, I know, it just got me thinking, and like, I don't know what you guys think. Like, how much do we really know about snakes eating? And I think, like, do we have to like look at it species by species? Do we have to like maybe go back and revisit our thoughts? Because it just seems like, I don't know what it is about snake keepers, but they just seem to, like, as soon as they have this thing that works, they cookie cutter it, and they just seem to put it into everything that they do, because they kind of can do that. But like, are we cutting the life of these animals short? And I don't know.
The
man.
answer is yes.
Yeah, so many thoughts were going through my head. Just like I don't know, man. Just like so many things. Like, and then I think about every time I see a carpet python in the wild eating, it's this huge meal. So is it more beneficial for them to eat this huge meal and digest it over time, and not really feeding them on a weekly schedule? I mean, I think the three of us are basically doing cycle feeding, but it seems like even that might not be right. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm. I personally think some species are more tolerant of overfeeding than others, like berms and retics. But like, even in carpets, I think, like, I've got 2 jungles that are, one is every bit of 8 feet. No shit. She's 8 feet long. And she's had bad clutches. But she still breeds. My other girl, she's probably more like 7 feet, and she's had great clutches. So I think jungles, to an extent, are probably more tolerant of it. But then one cage up, my albino Darwin, she's nowhere near as big as them, but she's big for a Darwin. She won't, she's the laziest animal I've got. And I think it's because I overfed her in the first 3 years. And now she's on a much more spread out seasonal regimen, but because they're in captivity, they don't exercise as a wild carpet does. It's hard to get the weight off of her and keep her lean. So she's not going to get a meal for the next 2 months.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to solve her problem right away. I think it's going to take years of conditioning her back down. And so I think we do have to look at it species specifically, especially when we're talking about animals in captivity that are switched over to rodents, but maybe in the wild eat things more like birds and frogs. So instantly we're battling an excessive caloric intake just by trying to feed them what's convenient for us. Yep. So I think and then I see photos of Nick posting an albino Darwin on a clutch of eggs, and it's like this big. And it's like, okay, yeah, I've definitely overfed that animal. He's having success. I'm doing everything that I think is right, and I'm not having success. It's hard for me to not feel like I've overfed that animal, and that's my problem. And so moving forward, yeah, seasonal feeding, spreading it out more, no schedule really, like just 2 times of the year is when they get fed a little more consistently, and then the rest is kind of willy-nilly, if at all.
Yeah. And so I completely agree. It does have to be species specific. And, like you said, they're not eating a normal diet. That does play a role. They're also just sitting in a box, the radio tracking study that I keep looking at for Woma python stuff, like they moved an average of 1/3 of a mile between point A and prey capture. Like these things are booking it out there. They probably log dozens of miles a year. That makes a difference in terms of, even if it's not visible obesity, metabolic health, right? Like fatty deposits in the organs, it matters. So even if in the wild you see bigger animals, I guarantee you they're healthier on the inside, and they're big because they're old.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's the thing that people miss, I think
length isn't the problem necessarily. I think that length becomes the problem in captivity because you also have sedentary and you have unnaturally fatty prey. It's sitting on the couch eating ice cream sundaes for 6 years.
Right. I was going to say that too, just depending on where you get your feeders from, could make a huge difference in the quality of food that they're eating. I mean, Lucas, as being an Aspidaites guy, this must, to me, this was always a huge concern because, I would say probably more with blackheads than with Womas, but like,
the blackheads seem to get pumped up more, you don't see blackheads in the wild like you see them in some of these US collections, and they just die.
It's funny. Johnny had said that he switched everything to birds, and he's surprisingly found the huge jump in their weights. I don't know. And you got to think about that too, like
maybe that's a healthier growth, with healthier oils and healthier proteins.
Sure. Yeah. And like when I was getting into carpets, people told you to shy away from birds because runny stools and all this kind of stuff, and but like I don't know, if you're going to have a snake that can live 30 years for 20, 30 years.
I always say it. I feed my blackheads quails and mice, and I don't have problems with the stool with the quail.
Right.
Like they don't have the spraying problem. I think they're more designed to eat that kind of thing anyway.
Yeah.
I've got a pair of Dumerals that only eat quail, and they have solid stool, and they're growing just fine.
Yeah.
I wonder. I think, Riley, you said this earlier, and I wonder if this has anything to do with it. And again, this goes back to like my thinking of why I don't overfeed babies, and I try to slow grow them as slow as I possibly can. Is like I think like we still have this, and again, this can be debated back and forth, right? Because I've talked to Justin about this multiple times, and I'll probably talk to him in a week when we're down in Texas. But my thought is like if you're hitting that baby, to juvenile carpet or python consistently, feeding it a weekly meal, are you doing damage to it? You know what I mean? Are they able to get I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think there's been studies of baby carpets in the wild to sort of know.
They're too elusive. But I will tell you, what really opened my eyes was seeing your animals as yearlings compared to mine, and I felt really bad at how fast I had pumped my yearling animals up.
Right.
And then when I flew out there for Carpet Fest in 2019 and got to see your babies and really visualize the difference, see them in hands, quantify your subadults, your juveniles, and your adults, and see how much more fit and appropriately sized they were, and kind of put the visual demonstration, for lack of a better word, in front of me, made it click. And now every animal in here gets the winter off of food. Summer, I don't really feed that much because it's hot, and I want them to sort of experience a difficult time getting prey because they're hiding out even more because of the extreme heat. And I want them to experience bust and boom and feast and famine, and I think it's healthier for them overall. And I think it makes for a fitter carpet. And if breeding is your intention, you've made an animal that is robust and healthy and able to deal with an unpredictable amount of resources and survive. And I think that's what they're programmed to do. And so if you kind of institute a little bit of that, you get a better, healthier, long-lived animal.
I think too, like I think this is one of those things, like, when we talk about temperature and humidity and stuff, and it really kind of depends on where you're at, right? And you sort of have to, figure out how to sort of get those, those things you want to hit with what you're working with where you're at, right? So like, is it a matter of like, if you're keeping a snake in a tub, or if you're not really giving it options to climb, or, you're keeping it in a smaller cage, is it going to affect, if they're not getting that exercise, you know what I'm saying? Like if they're not getting that exercise, then maybe you have to readjust how you're feeding, as opposed to, somebody that's keeping, say, in a more naturalistic, even if we're talking big snakes, like you think about big snakes, right? And I think Dan sort of hit on this on the show. He was talking about how like the standard big snake cage is 8 foot. Right. Meanwhile, these things are like 18 feet, It's like, are they really getting the exercise that they need? Like, I mean, you see African rocks taking down gazelles in the wild, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, it's eating this huge meal or whatever. But
then it doesn't eat for a year.
Right.
And it traversed miles just in that day.
Right. Yeah. So when it's not doing that in captivity, maybe you have to sort of find the balance of that, and I think that's maybe where we're missing the mark, if you will.
Well, when I was in Santa Barbara, and I left the zoo there like 3.5 years ago, not even, the Burmese python that I cared for lived in an enclosure bigger than my snake room. Walk in, huge pool, rock walls everywhere. He would climb all the way up to the ceiling. We put trees in there, all this stuff. Dude was active as can be. We only fed him a jumbo rat every couple of weeks. And when I left, he was 21 years old. He's still there. Now he's 24 years old, and he's an 11-foot Burmese python, and he's lean, he's healthy, and he's active. And that's how they should be. And he's about to be 25 years old. How many people do you know have a berm for 25 years? None.
Not many.
None. It's just like, it's exactly what Dan's, whole show, I'm sure, was talking about, was exactly what we're talking about right here. Is how we misperceive snake digestion and how they use the resources. And we already know they're super efficient animals, right?
Yeah.
Just biologically, they're a very streamlined, efficient, well-designed animal, and they're efficient with their fat stores, and they're efficient with their resources, and they're only moving when they have to, and they're only exposing themselves when they have to, and otherwise they're going to be sedentary if they've got the safety and the resources. So in the wild, they don't have that, so they're active. So yeah, I think we just got to think about things differently.
So Ryan saying that giant snakes don't have to be giant, and he has a Sula that is 3 and he's 6.5 feet and lean as hell. But like, I think the thing is, like, you don't even, like, you can't really see the inside of the snake. And like, I've seen many people that think that their snake is lean and they think they're doing the right thing. And then when they, they do a necropsy, and then it's like, no, you're wrong. So like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, again, like, you don't want to compare to people too much because the physiology is completely different. But in that case, you can make an analogy to people. There's skinny people that are metabolically fat, like that. You can't judge it just from what you look like on the outside, whether your internal organs and blood chemistry and whatnot is
Right.
healthy. You know, like it doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just keeps me going back to the whole thing of like, I don't know if we understand snakes as much as we think we do, or we're just keep, I love the fact that, these things are coming to light because it's pushing that envelope more and more to keep them better in captivity, in the long time. Oh, okay. Yeah. Scott's saying basically with an ultrasound, you can see if those fat bodies are there. Okay.
Nice.
Well,
nice.
Where's Owen when you need him?
Yeah, he's gone.
But
I haven't heard him talk about that
ultrasound is
machine
hard
in a
to
while.
read.
Yeah, and then maybe here's another point, right? Scott keeps a lot of his animals outside, and maybe that changes things, and maybe you know what I mean. I don't know, man. I'm just spitballing, but I don't know. It fascinates me of like how much we don't know still, and trying to figure it out. But
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely kind of makes you just think about that, and I don't know. That's kind of why I do the feeding that I do, and hopefully, I'm doing the right thing. But makes me nervous with things like aspidites.
For sure, and
makes me nervous with my Apodora in the same way.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, and with that in mind, that we don't have a complete understanding. I think that it's just fair to say that less is safer. Like in light of not having all the information, at least you can kind of rest assured that you're not gonna, you're not doing damage by reducing your feeding, whereas you're definitely doing damage by increasing or power feeding, so at least there's that.
Yeah.
Our water monitors prefer chicken over the rats, and to me that just kind of substantiates like things that eat rats will eat them, but like maybe it's not the best thing for them, or if they had an option they would probably choose something else.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I was thinking about that.
Yeah. And then there's the false water cobras, which which
eat freaking everything.
You might as well just consider them a completely different thing because they are.
Yeah. And even colubrids in general, right? I mean, like I hear you and Owen always talking about, whether you guys talking about false water cobras and crebos and all these things that just eat,
nonstop.
Right.
Yeah, they're garbage disposals. Like they will literally take 4 or 5 food items in a sitting, crap it out 3 days later, and look at you for more.
Exactly.
It's
and then
nuts.
When somebody like Zach Loafman, who knows more about snake digestion than I'll ever comprehend, tells me to feed something every 4 days, like it's different.
Yeah, and the show we did with him about snake digestion was I freaking love that show.
I need to listen to it again. I'm ready to try and get more.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's shit I missed in there, and just especially when I'm not listening to it. I'm trying to do the show. I'm gonna ask Scott if he feeds bait. So I was asking Scott, right? So Scott Iper in Australia, I asked him what how often he feeds his imbricata, and he's saying 8 to 12 times a year over 8 months of the year.
Yeah.
Diamonds are 12 to 16 per year over 8 months. So my question was, is he feeding babies the same?
Mm-hmm. And Scott, I'm curious why diamonds more so. What's the rationale behind that? But that's awesome. I mean, that's it's kind of what you when you really start to look at it, 8 to 12 times a year, and then taking a break for winter. I mean, that seems about right.
That's about like right now I'm feeding diamonds like that. But the crazy thing is that they all do, especially the smaller ones, do like the chondro perch thing, and twice that feeding. Okay, so he basically with juveniles he's doing double the feeding to those two. So I would imagine that diamonds, maybe he's approaching the diamonds, and like if coastals and jungles and all that East Coast stuff, maybe the same. But
very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Interesting. I wonder if that has to do with that very melanistic
basking in the sun and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Gets it out quicker.
Yeah.
Hold tight. I'll be right back. You guys take over for
Yeah,
a second.
yeah.
Diamonds. That's literally the only carpet that we have in the States that I have like no real experience with. Like I've obviously seen Eric's and handled other people's and seen it, but like never actually like.
I haven't seen one yet. Like
they're freaking amazing, dude. They're different though. Like the first thing you notice when you look at a diamond is to me anyway, their head structure is different from other carpets. It just looks a little bit different, the proportions and angles and the way it's built, but they're amazing, man.
I would absolutely love to work with them, and obviously they'd slide right in with my brittle stuff in terms of the cool down and whatnot. But yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do it until I get more cages.
Oh yeah.
I got too many things coming up right now for blackheads and womas. Yeah.
Scott says they both bask similar amounts as far as the diamonds and imbricata. So
just different
biology. Yeah. It's a different snake, different animal. I mean, makes sense.
That's a great example of something that you gather from observation, in terms of how fast food is processed. You really just have to be tuned in and observe that.
Yeah, exactly.
Watching your animals. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how the shift in understanding changes and then how the hobby responds. And I think without having somebody come on and talk about it from like a very academic side to really flesh it out, even if we don't understand it, but just to understand that it has been studied and there is legitimacy in all of this, I think gets people's attention, and then it'll start changing things. And prey variety and
it should, I'd like to give even the most commercial breeder, the benefit of the doubt that they want their animals to be healthy and live long lives. So in my mind, it makes more sense to take the extra year or two to raise something up slowly and perhaps extend its life 5 or 10 years. Like from a business perspective, if you're a business focused person with your animals, the healthier route still helps you more, because you're, instead of that thing being unhealthy and maybe you got it to breed earlier, but it'll probably die a lot more prematurely than if you raised it properly. You're still extending the reproductive window there if you're a little bit more sparing. So I don't know. I just don't think there's any good rationale for power feeding, overfeeding.
I think the hobby trend for power feeding has kind of died down a lot. I think it still exists in ball pythons. I think people still like to flex in the ball python community that they can get females to breed at 18 months. I see that a lot, and it's kind of disgusting. And they can stay over in their corner. But I think it's I think the taboo on that has kind of permeated around where everybody knows, like, okay, slamming your animal to obesity just to get it to breed fast is definitely a money-driven thing, and not really publicly appreciated, even though it exists. So I think that's kind of decreased. I don't think it'll ever go away.
Right. And that's what I mean. I mean, obviously we all know it's a problem, but it's still done.
Right.
People will have like these little things and then they'll look at their watch and be like, oh crap, this thing's like 3 years old in a couple months. Better add 1,500 grams to it real quick. It's like,
it's interesting. The motivations behind some of that. I mean, certain animals just won't let you overfeed them, but a lot of them will. And, it's just sad to see that happen because, they die young. And that's, listening to Garrett Hartle's, rationale for really pushing the super dwarfs and why he got out of doing a lot of mainland stuff, and, how he doesn't see any of the thousands of mainland retic offspring he produced alive anymore, where'd they all go? That's a very real thing. So
certainly.
I don't know. I'm actually really curious to see how. So that 8-foot jungle that I mentioned that I have, she's a big girl. She was produced by Nick Mutton in 2011, sold to my buddy Travis, who had her for years, and she's just a big girl. And she's had 2 pretty much train wreck clutches with him, and he didn't like overfeed her or anything, but she's a big girl, and I'm curious what the results will be trying to breed her this time around, because the male that sired both of those train wreck clutches with him or with her was, you know, appropriately sized, but ended up having, like, after the second clutch, just spontaneously like kinked after the cloaca for no reason whatsoever, it seemed. Was sold off as a pet, and was, you know, he was kind of writing this off as like a project that just, you know, she's not gonna throw viable babies. So I bought her, and I'm kind of keeping her on the leaner side. Again, not because she was obese, but I'm curious if at her size, keeping her leaner, feeding her more sparingly, and trying a different male, if that will yield different results. And if it doesn't, then, you know, the question is, does she have some obesity related problems to her reproduction, or is there a genetic propensity within her to produce kinked animals, and it has nothing to do with weight? So I don't know.
Yeah. And that's probably not one that can be known, but
yeah, I imagine if, you know, if she passed away and I did a necropsy on her, I'd still find a fair amount of fat stores in her, but she's lean, you know, for an 8-foot snake. So I don't know. Yeah. But is that due to lack of proper husbandry and poor fitness contributing to a shitty longevity? Yeah, it could be. It could be. There's the other end of the spectrum in not feeding enough and not giving your animals the space and like stunting it. That's a problem too. But also pervasive poor husbandry, just killing animals, not necessarily because of feeding issues. So we'll never really know. But yeah, you don't really see a lot of people with too many mainland retics that are old.
Yeah.
Very true.
But even with carpets, you see, I mean, over the years, we've definitely seen people share, you know, animals pass away that were younger. I had a female caramel that at 4 years old, she just one day was dead in the cage. And, you know, was that because I got her to a substantial size at too fast of a rate? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. So anyway, feeding is still, we're still learning about what we need to do, but I think every species is different, and then individuals based on how they're kept and the scenarios they live in needs to be taken into consideration for sure.
Yeah.
So, and then Eric, should we get into the locality of the week?
He's back.
Yes. Sorry. Man, my allergies are just so bad today. Holy crap.
Oh man.
I'm sorry.
I didn't
That's
want to
miserable.
Yeah. So this, you know, as everybody knows, I'm sort of this, I just any wild carpet python picture I can find, I sort of just like, you know, see what I can find out about it and, just stockpile it. And this is, a picture from Cam De Jong. I don't even know who that was. I saw it on Facebook. It was one of those, Herp in the Globe pictures, if you will, which is an awesome Facebook group, if you will, because we have another picture too that I'll share of a Kimberley rock monitor, which is just freaking amazing. But so this one is it's a Townsville carpet. So that is I guess what you would consider a McDowell, right? Would it be McDowell or McDowell? I'm not sure.
Well, so you've got it's south of where Tully is. It's along the coastline, but it's
here.
So is there a geographical divide that keeps them separate, or is that in that intergrade zone?
I don't know. That's a good question for Scott.
Seems like he knows who that individual is.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
But that's a stunning animal.
Yeah, man. I wonder how old that animal is. What would you say? 2 years? A year?
No,
I guess 2 years, right?
Based on the head, I mean, that's got a mature head on it. Not an adult head, but a more mature head than I would expect on a yearling.
What an awesome carpet python, man.
Yeah, that thing's killer.
Look at the colors on that thing.
Oh, just look how naturally it blends in with the surrounding environment and the leaf litter and the terrain that it's sitting there in that photograph. Like,
that's the one thing like just blew my mind with carpet pythons in general, and I think that's why you see such variability. It would be my thought, is just that like depending on where they're from. When we were out with Scott and he was showing us that coastal carpet and down where in Brisbane, it went into the tree and it just disappeared. It's like, what? In the picture, it's just like perfect camouflage, so, which is probably why young carpets, to Scott's point earlier, are hard to find. But this is, this is Tully where we were. And we actually, we're in this area where Mission Beach and all that, and supposedly real nice jungles are from there. It's kind of a known jungle spot, if you will. But then Townsville is all the way down here. I don't know. I tried to look to see like, where there are any I don't see any barriers to where would stop
Scott
them,
says jungles intergrade from Paluma north. So where is Paluma relative to Townsville?
It's a good question because it's not on here.
To the maps.
Yes. Let's see. Let's go. Paluma.
Google Earth field trip.
Yeah.
Queensland. All right. Let's zoom out a little
Maps.
bit. Oh, there's a Paluma Range National Park. I bet you they have a whole locality of carpets there. Okay.
Oh, it's right near Townsville.
Yeah.
So I guess I could share that screen, show people the Google Earth. Let's see, window, no, Chrome tab. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. So that's Townsville, and that's Paluma. So Paluma
So it's
North.
literally right on that same lateral line.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the hobby would not know what to call that thing. Until this next book comes out, of course.
Yeah. And there's Tully. Yeah. I wonder how far that is from wow, that's way down. Where's Brisbane? That's a sunshine.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You got a pretty serious that's a serious distance to the intergrade zone.
Very cool.
I'm always curious. I was in Townsville last week.
Yeah, there you go.
So jealous of you. Don't worry, Scott. I'll be seeing rattlesnakes next week. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know if there's a spot where, the southern idea of coastal carpets sort of kicks in. Like, is it anything below that range? We're gonna have to have Scott come on for Carpets and Coffee at some point.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, my schedule at work is changing as we speak. So starting this week, I'll have Thursdays and Friday off. So we're gonna have to brainstorm.
I guess we'll be drinking coffee at night.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Carpets and cocktails.
Yeah.
You could always just drink out of a coffee mug but have water in it. I think that's what a lot of TV hosts do. They just lie to people.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
But anyway, we can figure that out later. But it would be it's interesting to see just the variety as you go along. You just see how they match the environment, and it's such an interesting human construct that we need to quantify and categorize things, but they have to be distinct. There can never be like a gray area with it. It leaves it too uncertain and ambiguous.
Yeah.
The human brain doesn't like that.
No, it does not. But that is the way of nature.
Yeah, we try to put things in our boxes and, but yeah, so that's the locality. I thought that was
Beautiful. It's a beautiful animal.
It was an awesome animal, and worth sharing, you know. So
Yeah.
if
For the
there's-
listeners who are catching this later, it basically looks like a coastal with more tipping amidst all of the kind of crazy pattern, reminiscent of some high tipping jungles, but has more of the yellow and black palette of coastal, almost like a creamy tan. And it was the photo of the animal sitting on some looked like bark and mulch and eucalyptus leaves and things, and it just blended perfectly into the burnt sort of dry brown underbrush. And so if you can imagine imagine that's kind of what this animal looks like, but it kind of has features of things that remind me of like Tully jungles, but also of Brisbane coastals, and it's just a beautiful snake.
right.
So that's what we were looking at if you're listening to just the audio version of this.
Damn.
Which, why aren't you catching it live if you're listening to the audio? Come on.
That's right. Damn it.
Subscribe to the MPR Network YouTube channel. There's my plug.
Yeah. And then one more picture from Herp and the Globe, which kind of, touches the other side of my brain. One of my favorite species of monitor. Okay. Oh, Scott shared some pictures with me. I wasn't sure. So he's got some readings and stuff because he was in Townsville last week. So let's see what we got here. He's got some UV readings and such.
Oh yeah, I think I caught that in the chat a little bit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool stuff.
Let's see. Is that Facebook? Yeah, Facebook. No, that's not what I want. Share a screen, window, maybe window. There we go. Messenger. So
Yeah.
some. I'm so jealous. I would love to be there right now.
Beautiful little eucalyptus lined river.
Yes, there's Townsville.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Perfect carpet python habitat.
So lush.
Trees.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I want to go.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there, fellas. 2022, maybe.
Yeah.
And look at that.
Ooh. Talk about camouflage. Jesus
man.
Christ.
Holy shit.
That's badass.
Aren't they the coolest? I freaking love those geckos.
That's
They're
cool,
cool.
man. That's so neat. I love watching Luke's videos when he's redoing his enclosures and doing all the lichen and the painting and the tile pointing, and all of a sudden he puts the animals in, it's like gone. You're like, that's so cool.
I know.
So cool.
So Daniel Bromley, he has a shot of a Kimberley rock monitor.
Oh yeah.
And it was in Western Australia, and
Those are cool, man. Those are long, slender.
their
athletic.
tails on those things,
Dude,
are-
they're so long.
They're
They're
beautiful
super
too.
cool.
I really love the patterning.
Yeah, you see where the definitely where the Aboriginal art comes from. With
Look at
that
that.
I mean, could you
Look
get a
at-
better shot, man?
Holy crap.
What the hell?
Just picture perfect. You've got the river right there, the animals in the foreground. You got background elements where it just disappears around a bend. You've got lush greenery on the left. You got rolling hills on the right, red rocks that the animal's sitting on, quintessential Australia sort of imagery. And then there's this dinosaur sitting on it, this little dinosaur. It's just
I need
amazing.
to just deck out my apartment with good prints. Like
Yeah.
this, and then the Ross McGibbon pictures. Like I need
Oh
to just,
yeah.
I need
Oh,
to
I
get,
bought a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get them printed out digitally because
man, they're so nice.
Yeah, if you have really high quality resolution photos saved to your computer, go to Black River Imaging, and you can get them printed on like the aluminum gloss, like shadow mounted prints. Like I did a bunch of those a couple of years ago for some of my
Nice.
photos, and they sort of hover off the wall. They're really cool. It's pretty affordable. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
that's a freaking beautiful lizard, man.
Yeah. So bird-like, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
The flat head, very narrow.
yeah. Apparently, I think from what I've, at least for talking to Rob, they're, I guess Aki's is sort of the introduction to Australian monitors, a little more forgiving, if you will, whereas, those Kimberleys can be a little bit trickier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you listen to if you listen to Kai and Alan on the Monitor Keeping podcast, they talk about Kims a lot, and they'll tell you all sorts of horror stories about, you know, ruining eggs or having trouble with babies or being sensitive about, like, you got to dial them in. They're not just keep them hot, keep them fed, and they do the rest sort of thing. They're not like other monitors. They're definitely different. They like to be in little crevices. They're fast. They climb. They're just a different animal.
Yeah, but so cool. I mean, they're not a Perendi, but you know, but damn it, they're pretty close. Those and I like Pilbarensis too. You know, I think they're pretty cool. But yeah, beautiful monitors. Beautiful.
Someday
You'll keep them, or someday you'll get there to see them.
I'll have
or
to get
both?
into the legged creatures someday.
They're fun.
Both exactly.
Yeah, both definitely both.
I definitely have a new I definitely have a new appreciation for monitors, and I know the next time I go back to Australia, probably I guess in 2022, maybe if everything works out,
Right.
To appreciate when, you know, seeing them in the wild.
Absolutely.
But god damn, they're cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I think Brett's in the chat. I think he had just got a clutch of them, didn't he? Or no, I could be
Well,
wrong.
he just said I've mastered ruining eggs. So
He's got eggs, but yeah, I don't know. I guess they could be tricky. But you know, lots of cool like little monitors from Australia for sure.
Yeah.
The sand monitors are pretty too that Alan works with. Those are gorgeous.
Those things are amazing in person. The babies are really colorful. The adults just cover themselves in dirt, so he'll take them outside and hose them off, and then it's like, boom, color on those things. Yeah, they love sand, man. They dig holes. They're filthy freaking things. They're little sand torpedoes. They're amazing. But yeah, those things are really colorful, even though you would expect them to just be kind of like sandy monotone. You clean them up and you look at them, and there's like subtle blues and reds and yellows in there, and you're like, holy shit, this thing's nuts.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff, man. So much cool shit in Australia, but you know, I digress.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be focusing on some Texas reptiles next week, so
that's gonna be cool.
That'll be good. Yeah.
I hope.
What's your weather looking like? Have you checked?
I don't know. They sent me a picture of hail the size of like baseballs, so maybe that'll melt and bring out the snakes. I don't know.
Boy.
It'll be fun.
I hope to find some rattlesnakes. You know, I think my goal for okay, I didn't know that. So Scott is saying that Kimberleys are,
or is it Kimberleys or sand monitors he's talking about?
Oh, I don't know.
Sand monitors, there's definitely two types. There's there's Flavirufus and there's Gouldy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I know there's two of those.
That's probably what he was talking about. Rat snakes. And I know you were saying earlier, I saw you must have been listening to the show with my whole take on rat snakes being the carpet pythons of the U.S.
I rewatched it.
100%, man. I really honestly believe that. But those and rattlesnakes, I'd like to get as much, be able to see as much as I can in the wild across the U.S.
Yeah.
So black-tailed rattlesnakes, that'd be cool.
Yeah, those are freaking gorgeous. I need to get out and do more herping with aims for finding wild crotalus, because I've worked with plenty, but I've only seen a couple in the wild.
Right. Yeah, I brought this up too on the show before, but Riley, I know you've worked with crocodilians, but this book, man, Crocodiles of the World, is pretty freaking cool, man.
I'm gonna go look it up.
Yeah,
that looks amazing. Crocs are, that's another
whole nother thing.
There's a whole nother
so many rabbit holes you could go down.
Dude, Crocs are
nature, man.
Yeah,
dude, I loved working with alligators and Chinese alligators and dwarf caiman and smooth fronted caiman, and I am so glad to have all of my fingers, but damn, did it come close a couple times. And then going to Florida and getting to learn from the actual Florida guys, you know, it's a couple times, and going out to St. Augustine years ago. And there's something different. Those things are, that's another animal, dude. That's serious. That's an animal that has existed well past its time that humans can't ruin. And it's a dominant force of Earth that will never go away.
Survivalists, man.
They're perfect, literally perfect. They can survive having their top jaws ripped off. They can survive missing limbs, missing bits of their they are brutal. They fight off infection in some of the nastiest swamps and just unbelievably.
They can survive whatever
dominant.
the hell wiped out the dinosaurs. So.
Dude, and even the little ones are no slouch. The dwarf crocs, the African dwarf crocs are no slouch. Chinese alligators, no slouch.
Yeah.
The little dwarf caimans are savages. They're little psychos.
I loved Ron's story about that like long snout croc or something like that. I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
that was
when it
really
got
funny.
It. Yeah, and it got out and he was trying. Yeah, that was hilarious.
And then he was in the news like a little while later. He's like, "That's mine."
Yeah, that Temistoma, dude. Temistomas are wild. Those are cool, but they get huge. I've held a young one at St. Augustine and seen them work those animals, and I think that's another species that like is best being kept and worked with by folks who are going to specialize, whether in a zoo or private, because it's just, they're too different. They're amazing. And I will never regret my time working with crocodilians and gators. And I hope I'm not done with working them, but it is difficult in the private sector. So,
yeah, for sure. You
at
need
least
land,
in California anyway.
and not California.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, nature really got that one right.
Yeah, I can't imagine, you know, what it's like to work with them. I can, you know, I would imagine that. Do you see? Is it like you know how like, you know, some people keep snakes and then they move the monitors and they're just like okay, that's another level, and like I guess what you're saying is basically they're just a thing to their own, you know, like
they're just different. They think differently. To me, it's a little more cut and dry behaviorally, but it's more instinct driven. And then they're also highly, highly intelligent. So I also think they're very cognizant of everything around them and adapting and sponging all of that. That's why you have such a problem in Florida with alligators becoming nuisance alligators off of just one person feeding them one time. That's all it takes.
Yep.
They're that smart. They are built for survival. They can handle literally anything. And it's just a different level of intelligence because you can develop trust and understanding with some, but then at the same time, it's kind of random and somewhat unpredictable, like iguanas, as far as like which people they sort of have a better time with. Some, I don't know how to explain it. It's, they can have more personality and preference and selection, but you have no room for error with them. No room for error. And not that like you should be taking liberties with things that are less dangerous, because monitors can still put you in the hospital or kill you. Same with venomous. I think it's on the same level as venomous. It can be done very, very safely if you practice safety protocols, but just being in the presence of something like that is pretty nuts. When you feel a crocodile bellow, you feel it in the ground coming up through your feet, and you're just like, oh my God, I am so vulnerable and weak and fleshy and easily killed. This thing is nuts. Yeah. And it's just a whole nother level of respect. It's crazy.
More people need those experiences, in my opinion.
It's profound. It's very profound.
Yeah. We went on when we were in Cairns, we went on a boat ride that basically takes you to look at the saltwater crocs. And if I'm being honest, I couldn't, it was weird because I thought that they would be a lot bigger than what they were. Right. And I guess we were looking at females and not males. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we saw the male at the front of the boat, and woo,
Dude.
it was kind of like, oh, okay,
So gnarly.
yeah, man.
If you ever get to go to St. Augustine Alligator Farm, their salty exhibit, they've got a pair. Sydney is the female and Maximo is the male. Sydney, it's really nice if you can go down because they have an underwater viewing area where they actually, at least they used to have a couple Bredli down in there.
Nice.
Because they had like a whole little Australia thing, so they had some displays with like Aboriginal work.
That's more my
Bredli.
speed.
So you go down there, you look at the Bredli, and you turn around and you're at the underwater viewing area of these salties. And when Sydney's down there, you're like, dude, that's a big croc. She's like 11 feet or 10 feet or something. You're like, holy shit. And then Maximo swims down and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's like 16 plus feet. His head is bigger than your torso. Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Dude, he jumps.
And they used to be a lot bigger than that. Sarcosuchus.
Yeah, so they also have a wonderful building with some replica skeletons of a lot of those primitive, like 20 plus, 30 plus footers.
Yeah.
And then they've also got sort of like a memorial display for this other previous saltwater croc that they had before Maximo that was even bigger.
Yeah, that thing is huge.
I can't remember his name right now. I'm drawing a blank, which feels offensive because it was amazing. And some of the folks that work there currently were the ones who brought him in and worked with him and all that stuff. But he was damn near 20 feet.
Right.
So, yeah, they're like nothing else.
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, agreed. Like,
Yeah.
every time I see them in person, you know, at zoos and whatnot, I'm just reminded how much I freaking love crocodilians.
Yeah, man.
They're insane.
You know, I went
They
to.
don't get the respect they deserve either.
I went
They're
to.
they're smart as hell.
Yeah.
What's the alligator place in Australia? Why can't I think of it?
Crocosaurus? Is it?
No,
The reptile
that's
park?
the one. No. It's the. It's just focused really on alligators. They do
Australia?
have other croc. No. In Florida.
Florida.
The not St. Augustine, but the Everglades.
The other one.
Everglades Alligator Farm.
No, there's. Fuck! I can't believe I can't remember it. It's got the big alligator head when you're walking into it.
Is
Why
it
am I drawing
something
a
simple
blank?
like
Is it
Gatorland?
Everglades
Gatorland,
Holiday Park?
yes,
Gator-
that's it.
Got
Gatorland.
it.
Got it.
It was so easy. It was hard.
Damn. Anyway, I thought that place was cool, but when I
Yeah.
went to St. Augustine, it was like, holy shit, that place is another level, man. That place, if you are ever in Florida and you like reptiles at all, you need to go there. It is an amazing place.
Mhm.
An amazing place.
Their keeping staff is top notch.
Cody used to work there. When I was
Mhm.
there, Cody was still there, and I had just missed him because he was gonna, I would have been able to get behind the scenes type of deal,
Oh,
and
nice.
now he's not there anymore. But he's working on his own spot, so I'm sure he'll have plenty of crocodilians.
Oh yeah, they're doing a bunch of croc stuff there. They're digging pits and building enclosures all the time. I'm actually one of the top tier Patreon members for the Reptile Preservation Institute, so I get to see all these private videos before they put out on their YouTube channel. And yeah, they're doing a lot of good stuff there. So
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, they have every species of crocodilian in the world as it's currently classified, and then some. They breed alligators for other facilities, but not a ton. I don't think they focus on that so much anymore. I think they more focus on breeding the endangered species nowadays. But they do a lot of education. They train. They do host croc school every year for AZA, and like 20 or so keepers get to do that every year from around the country or around the world even too. And then they train like their firefighters and law enforcement out there. And but it's amazing, man. They are the first place to hatch out Indian gharial outside of their native range anywhere in the world. And I got to see that clutch of eggs pulled while I was there, where the baby hatched from.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. Just what the work they're doing there is hands down the best in the world. Like, they taught me how to draw blood from an alligator's like back of the skull, like the sinus back there, while it's alive and awake. Just everything from capture techniques to husbandry to egg incubation to how to display them in zoos, how to build and design exhibits and pools, and all the aspects of everything possible. And it was just unbelievable. It was the wildest 9.5 days I've ever had. And yeah, you need to go see the albino alligators. You need to go see all the rare species. They have black caiman, they have morlets, they have muggers, they have broad snouted caiman, black caiman, yakare caiman, just everything, dude. It's amazing. And then aside from that, they've got beautiful facility, historic pools, great food. They've got vultures, lemurs, a bunch of cool stuff there. Yeah, I love.
There's an albino at the Academy of Sciences in San Francisco. It used to be called Steinhardt Aquarium. I've seen that thing since I was like a little peanut.
Same, dude. I used to see the same gator all the time as a little kid. I have that memory etched in my brain.
Yeah,
from as a little kid looking down on the pool, seeing it.
Such a cool animal. My junior prom was at that place. It was crazy.
Oh,
I ignored everybody and just looked at the animals all night.
Screw dancing and punch.
Yeah, no, this is like gar and gators and
yeah, man.
There's a book that just came out, and I didn't get it yet, but I'm sure it looks pretty interesting. But I'll show you the thing. It's called The Secret Social Lives of Reptiles.
Yeah, that looks cool.
I'm curious to see what that gets
Speaking
into.
Of Indian Gharial, there you go.
Yeah. That's what kind of made me start to think about that. Was that? So I don't know. I should get it in a couple days or whatever. But yeah, it looks
that's
pretty
Burkhart.
Cool. Yeah,
yeah. He's got a lot of fantastic papers. That rat snake paper that I talked about maybe a month or two ago with the like snake intelligence, snake learning training stuff. That's all Burkhart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see the write up on it was pretty cool. It just talked about it covers, so basically the book covers turtles, lizards, snakes, crocodilians, and the tuatara. And basically it goes through, explains why reptiles have been neglected as subjects of social behavior studies, provides numerous examples across all major reptilian groups that overturn the false paradigm of solitary reptiles, explores the sensory, genetic, life history, and other factors underlying social behaviors in reptiles, presents a case that evolutionary experiments found among reptiles offer unparalleled opportunities for understanding how and why social behaviors evolve in animals, and identifies new and developing areas of research helping to reshape our view of reptiles.
100%.
Yeah,
and that's Burkhart's whole thing, is reshaping the views around reptiles and trying to correct some of these dogmas and stereotypes. Like I'm a big fan of that dude's work.
Yeah, it says at the beginning, it was like reptiles have been too often dismissed as dull animals with tiny brains and simple asocial lives. In reality, reptiles engage in a remarkable diversity of complex social behavior. They can live in families, communicate with one another while still in the egg, which that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hunt, feed, migrate, court, mate, nest, and all hatch in groups. Sequel social lives of reptiles. 3 of the world's leading expert on reptiles bring together a wave of new research with the synthesis of classic studies to produce the only authoritative look at the social behaviors of the most provocative animals on the planet. So
he's required reading for Zach's lab.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh well, Zach likes it, then he must be good.
I know. Now I want that book too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that sounds like a gem of a book.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, it's such a cool time to be in the reptiles, because it seems like it's like pushing the envelope consistently.
Dude, it's the best time to be in reptiles. It's the best time. And soon as the Band-Aid of COVID is ripped off, it's going to get even better. Even better. Shows are going to be nuts. People are going to go wild, and the floodgates are going to open even wider. And that just means more people involved, more opportunity for innovation and progress. And I keep telling people all the time when they come into the shop and they're like skeptical about getting their first pet, whatever it is, I'm like, if there was ever a time, it's now.
Yeah.
It really, truly is. It's the best. Whether you just want to keep one thing or make it your lifelong passion and obsession, it's a great time.
I think more people will be field herping more so than ever because they've just been locked up for so long. And, there's more and more podcasts that talk about the, field herping and getting out there. And, you see it on Facebook groups and stuff, and which ultimately I think is a good thing because then, more people will be in tune with trying to keep the environment better and trying to do a better job at, I don't know, just good stuff all around. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be like we'll be able to look back on this sort of time in 5 years and be even more like stoked about where we're at then. I think it's going to be the next few years are just going to be pretty wild. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope we get to travel. I hope I get to finally get out to Australia. I hope we get to do a lot of herping.
Oh, we're
here
getting
in the
there,
States.
man. We're getting there.
Yeah. And you know what? What's even more exciting is like right now where we're at is a good spot to be, but like we're on a good trajectory, like with the network, with all the shows and the community building, and oddly enough, COVID has sort of driven people to the digital media so much more than we already were, making it seem like it's a much more legitimate thing and more beneficial for people, and kind of like it's replaced TV and it's on its way to replacing news a little bit, and some of these ways people consume stuff, and inevitably money goes into all of it. And so I'm just excited to see where this network takes things for us, for you, for Owen, for Lucas, for me. I mean, Lucas is doing grad school stuff, so he's got tons of angles involved in everything he's doing. You guys are, Eric, you and Owen are like really on the precipice to take the 10 years of work you've done and, capitalize on this amazing time. And I can't wait to see what you guys do over the next 2 to 4 years. Cause you really we joke about like starting a serpentarium or, a reptile facility.
I'm not joking.
We sort of say it in like, haha, that'd be amazing. But like, I think it's legit. Yeah. I think it can really happen.
No jokes here.
It can be done. Absolutely.
No, I would move where, you know what I mean? Like I'm not locked to being here in Pennsylvania or anything like that. But I mean, to me, I think that I can't imagine how that could be a bad thing. I don't know, man.
If you build it, the interns will come.
I just don't. You know what it is? It's like I'm usually pretty good at this stuff, and like I think once things like settle down a bit, I'm just gonna research it hard and try to figure out how do you make that happen. But I picture like. I've always envisioned this, and I have like these ideas, right? And you're kind of like, Brett's gonna work in the gift shop.
Honestly,
it's funny. Brett sent me this in our Texas, West Texas field herping group that we were in. Right, he sent this picture of this house, and it's like got all this land, and I was like, that could be MPR headquarters, West Texas. It's like the safe spot for
I'd be down for West Texas for
holy shit,
sure.
Man. So many acres. And the house is like, I'm sitting there going like, I could sell my house, move to West Texas, and just hope, get this ball rolling because there's so much land, and like it's like $175,000. And I'm like, what?
You could literally finance the entire house based on the sale of your house in PA, move out there, like be scot-free. And
I think about like I think like Joe Rogan style of podcasting, right? And I think if there was like a serpentarium, if you will, a place where people would come, you would have like a go-to spot for like people from all over the world that would go to see the spot and want to be involved and whatnot, and then you could just have them right there doing a in-person podcast.
Just have your studio room and then Owen's white lip room in the back, breeding operations.
Dude,
everything in one place.
Well, so nuts. That's kind of the key to success in an endeavor like that. Like zoos are not money-making organizations. They have to do other things to bring money in: ticket sales, gift shop, restaurants, memberships, fundraisers, after hours events, train rides, like things like that. So,
Mort rides.
Yeah, Mort, feed Mort, $1.
Or the squirrel.
Yes,
Take
that's
photos
the big
with
money
the
item.
squirrel, $5
Yes.
a picture.
Yeah.
So that you would have to diversify the revenue stream in order to keep the doors open, but you really could do it, short and sweet and simple and really effective, and make it. Who's doing it really well, in my opinion, is Emily from Snake Discovery.
Yes, I was just thinking that.
Yep.
They've got a breeding room that's like state of the art as far as like current equipment, racks, enclosures, thermostats, species of her interest and focus. And then the actual display room has zoo-like enclosures around. They've got a rescue section. They've got retail stuff everywhere. They've got educational things, but it's also a home base for her.
She's got a classroom so she can do her shows.
Yeah. So like obviously her YouTube show makes enough money to support pretty much the whole endeavor. So even if she didn't have that, the retail end of things, having a studio there to record her content that makes her the money, and kind of pays the bills all in one spot is like really strategically brilliant. And it takes a little more work, but if having a retail side of things, having a breeding side of things all in one building funds like the studio and the recording and the fun, and you have employees take care of it all, you've literally just hit the jackpot. You've literally made your dream come true.
Yeah. That would,
and now is the perfect time
educational
to do it.
programs.
100%.
That classroom is brilliant because you can have like birthday parties to like higher education lectures. Like it's so versatile.
Yeah. So I think that's a great model. And obviously you do it with your own flavor to it, but the Reptarium out in Michigan, Brian Barczyk has his recording studio in there. Like that's a good idea. I think he's got a whole team that just does that. Obviously that's like, huge level stuff, and that's all he does. Not necessarily the example we're trying to emulate, but I think Joe Rogan's a great example. He's got his studio on site there. It's a destination where in a big city, people come out for the comedy, for the fights, for Joe's interviews. And, I would imagine anybody who comes out to be on his recording probably spends a weekend out there checking out everything that Houston out there has to offer, and they make it a whole thing. And so, if you have the MPR studio, like this destination studio, and,
I just think like
everything nearby, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. I think like West Texas is a good spot because you would go herping there, I mean, it's like a place where you would go, especially
Scott
if you're
perfectly herping tours. It'd be like eco tourism that funds it all, especially if you have like a lodge area, people could come, bunk beds.
Right. 100%, even people just in the US would go to sort of like,
absolutely
make it a destination of sorts.
That would be super awesome.
I have this idea, like you walk into this place where it's sort of like, maybe you have like naturalistic, like just a lot of like rainforest type of thing where you have some like loose reptiles just sort of chilling and whatnot. And then it like sort of branches off into these like spots where it's like Africa wing, Australia wing, Indo wing, United States, you know what I mean? Just like,
absolutely.
And then you walk through this tunnel and then it just takes you're in the outback, or you're in the Congo in Africa or whatever. And
now you're in a cloud forest.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be sweet. That would be really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man. I gotta make it happen. I don't know.
We could do it. We have all the pieces to make it work. If you think about it, Lucas could, bring in the research and academic side of things and really participate in whatever
I want to do
educational angles. Program director, you could sit on a throne in the middle of the room and throw peanuts at Owen while he yells at the employees. And then
scrub harder.
and then we have a breeding facility, have a whole croc ponds outside.
It's only a pipe dream until you do it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know, man. You get Bigfoot tours. Yeah, Owen could give those. I think he would believe in Bigfoot if we could make that happen.
There's very few
he would admit that Bigfoot exists if he could work in a serpentarium.
We could have like a big ass corn maze where you have to catch the guy in the Bigfoot suit, and if you win, you get to like sit down and interview Owen or something for half an hour.
Yeah, I would be so much fun to build those enclosures, and
there's very few things that would get me out of the Bay Area, move away from my family. That's one that I would do this. Yeah.
It can be done, and in a place where it's more affordable, your dollar goes further. You're able to save, live well, and then be able to go visit your family.
Yeah, it's not too far. That's
unlike living in California, where everything is a brutal expense.
I'd need AC to keep my freaking husky from spontaneously combusting, but other than that,
yeah, that's true.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess I got to get to work.
All right,
we'll do it.
Yeah, sounds good. It's a plan. We need just get more patrons. Easy.
Just baby step. I think to me, right? I think there's a lot of, and I could be just missing it. If I'm missing it, please send me what it is. I see a lot of people that herp, and they herp in their own spot, or I see I think it's Zilla, or I don't know which company does it, but they do that behind the glass thing where they're kind of, you know what I mean? And it's okay, it's they do it every once in a while, whatever. But I would love, my idea with the YouTube channel for herping is to legitimately herp around the world. You know what I mean? To go to all these different places and just bring that. And if there is one that's out there that does that, please send me a link to it so I can watch it, because there's just so many places that are cool in the world. And, I can't imagine that, that wouldn't be a hit. I mean, anything from, Scott, we're not doing it that way. Don't worry about that. You just brought it up because of the studio thing is very
the
close.
Studio aspect was
close
the only
to Rogan thing.
Yeah.
We're not copying him. We're copying Rogan, who copied him.
We're not followers. We are trendsetters.
That's right. That's right.
Damn skippy.
So the whole idea with this whole thing and everything was just to try to start to push that envelope and see where we can take it. So I don't know.
And I think
maybe 10 years.
I don't know. I think it'll be sooner, man. I think the prime time will be sooner than that, because you think soon as everything's lifted after COVID, people are going to go out, and then they're going to love seeing people going out, and just be more interested in seeing what other people are seeing, even if they can't necessarily go there. I think herping videos are getting more popular, which is why Noah Fields from NKF Herping is able to literally go herping full time as his job. And actually I should put a plug out there for him. I don't know if you saw this, but he was out with another gentleman who does some field herping, and their bags were stolen that had camera gear, memory cards, equipment, computer, all this shit, thousands and thousands of dollars. So I'm pretty sure he's got a backlog of videos, but he posted, I think a couple days ago, he posted something on Instagram or on some social media thing. So he got jacked, basically. So he lost a lot of camera equipment, and I think he's starting a GoFundMe. So I'm not sure how to find that, but I think it's up there. Probably not too hard to find. But anyway, I don't have any other channels that you haven't already put me on to, because you've seemed to found the really good ones. And so I watch pretty much all of the same stuff that you do. Right. But I don't think there is a global herping channel out there. The closest thing to that was a few years ago when Brian Cusco and Forrest, they went to Indo, and then they did a few other trips in Australia with Dave. Dave might be one of the closest people to it, but even still, he's got his focus and his audience, and so that kind of directs his content. And then he also does a fishing channel now, and so I don't think there's anything quite like what you're saying is out there.
Yeah, Lou Boyer. Actually, as soon as we finish this,
Lou Boyer, that's a great one too. Yeah,
it's funny that you bring him up, because as soon as as I finish this, I'm going to be putting the final touches on episode 2 for the Field Herping podcast, and he is really the guest, if you will. If you want to call it a guest, it's not a guest like NPR style guest type of thing. But it's going to be cool. I have to. Phil has to put some finishing touches on it tonight, and hopefully in the next couple of days it will be. I know it's a little behind schedule, but I got sick a couple of days and stuff. But I'm hoping to get that out, and then we'll be working on episode 3, which I don't know. I guess we can maybe, I don't know if this one is going to be it, but we're going to be talking to Mark O'Shea. Which is pretty friggin' awesome. We're going to be talking about the rough scale story, herping into Papua New Guinea.
Oh,
obviously, I'm going to get some. I can't go and talk Papua New Guinea and not get some real solid Apodora talk from the man himself out there. Scrub pythons, just
everything Apodora, please.
Yeah,
please.
That's super exciting. Can't wait to hear that.
That's going to be a great one. I don't even want to be involved in something like that. I just want to listen. I would be so scared. I have nope. Don't send me the link.
I gotta be honest, man. I'm a little nervous about that as well. But I'm just gonna have to buck up. Mark O'Shea is a guy just like we're guys, and I'm just gonna have to have that in my mindset as I'm I watched you when I was a kid, man. You're so freaking cool,
dude. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Damn it, Scott. Why'd you got to bring me down? Right? Oh my
legislation.
Gosh. Yeah.
That's a naughty word. I don't like that word.
Legislation usually has a little asterisk for if it's educational, you can get your permit or whatever. So we just have to build that classroom.
Texas is pretty lenient too. So
yeah. You don't know how Texas rolls there, Scott.
They don't give, dude, Scott, in Texas, you don't even have to show any form of identification or anything to I think you just have to show your driver's license to buy a gun there. You can go buy rifles and shit. That's how little they care.
Yeah.
Yep. You're a person. Here's a gun.
It's they're cool about a lot of freedoms and letting people kind of do their thing within some reason.
Yeah. 100%. So hopefully,
I enjoyed
that works
a
out.
lot of my Texas stops on tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a cool place, man. Very, very cool place.
Yeah, it's a big place. There's a lot of variety.
Yeah.
Dallas was a lot different than the highway stops along the way in the middle of nowhere.
It's funny when we were there for the original Southern Carpet Fest was at Bill's spot, and he basically was telling me, we went there and we were hanging out, and I was hanging out with Evan Browder, right? And he's telling me about Whataburger, right? So it's called What a Burger. But when he was saying it, he's saying it like I say water. So he's going Whataburger. So I was like, why the hell would you put water on a burger? You boil the burger? What kind of bullshit is that? And he's like,
you don't like your soggy buns?
It's like Whataburger. I'm like, no, man, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, and what is he talking about? And then I went there and I was like, oh, it's What a Burger. It's my stupid Philly accent that's screwing things up.
So wait, Eric, have you ever had In-N-Out?
No.
That's crazy.
That's a West Coast thing, right?
Riley, we got to fix that.
Yeah. I got to come out there, man.
I might hurt your feelings, Lucas. I like In-N-Out, but I don't love In-N-Out.
You can't hurt my feelings because I don't eat beef, but the fries are top notch in my opinion.
Yeah. Wait, In-N-Out's great because there's their secret menu, you can get all the different layers of shit. But I don't know, man. That's not my go-to burger spot.
So what is the go-to burger spot on the West Coast?
For me now, it's the Habit.
Really?
Yep. It started in Santa Barbara. The original Habit was in Santa Barbara, and the guy who started it, his brother also started a burger taco shop over in Goleta, 15 minutes north. And when I lived in Goleta, I was just down the street from it. Same recipe, same burgers, same fries and everything, just not, never took off like the Habit. So the OG Habit in Santa Barbara, I lived there for 11 years and I got to see Habit come and then develop, and I enjoyed it. And now that it's everywhere, I'm like, yes, it's so good. My
aunt lives in Goleta. Have you had, what is it, Lily's tacos?
Lily's, yep.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm going to end with this. It's when I don't know what it is. When I was younger, I was never a burger person, but I think it's some kind of thing I have with my wife. Whenever we go anywhere, we try to find a new a local burger spot or whatever, and try the burger or whatever. I don't hunt down it looks like I hunt down burgers all the time. I swear to God, I don't. However, when I was in Australia, You know, Scott was telling me about this burger with beets on it and eggs and everything. So, like, you know, when when you're in Rome,
Yeah, when in
do
Rome,
as the
do as the
Romans,
Romans do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earthy.
So, I will share with you
Beets.
this is a Humpty Doo, burger.
Oh, that looks good.
Those
I
fries
don't even
look
know
prime.
what's on
I
it.
like thick fries.
Steak fries.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Steak fries. Well
Yeah.
done, cooked, nice and crisp, light on the and
Ooh.
fluffy on the inside. Dude, that
Mm.
was a good burger. And you
I
can
haven't-
see, I think, oh, yeah.
Frilly.
There was the, hello, Frilly.
Hello.
But yeah,
Oh,
there was me about to dive into the
nice
burger of choice. Man, it was
Nice.
delicious.
I haven't eaten anything today, so this is painful.
Yeah, this is torture.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Oh man, that looked so good.
So we'll all go have some
do
burgers
miss
now.
cows sometimes.
What's that?
Cow-
You do miss
cows.
cows?
Occasionally, I loved eating beef. I didn't stop because I didn't like it. Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
Poor Lucas.
Is it factory farming or something like that? or-
It's an environmental thing for me. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, beef's pretty tough on the world, but it does taste good.
God damn, it tastes good, man.
Doesn't it
Yes.
take like 2,000 gallons of water per cow or something like that?
It's an ungodly sum. I don't know it off the top of my head, but
yeah, I remember
yeah.
seeing some statistics.
There's
it
like the
takes an
world's-
assload of water to produce a steak.
Right.
yeah, for like one burger, it's like the amount of gallons is a little bit mind shattering, but
God
yeah.
damn it! Now you're making me feel bad, Lucas. I
Sorry,
love
I'm gonna go eat a
not my
freaking burger.
intention. Not my intention. It's all going to hell anyway. Enjoy your beef.
right. We're all screwed.
Yeah, I guess I'm on the way out, so I don't know. I didn't have kids, so there you go. So I don't know if that balances things out.
Sure. Buys you a few years of good karma, huh?
Sure.
I guess so. We're gonna go with that.
Man.
Gotta go get out there. It's Memorial Day. I got to get
Yeah.
a cage before the vivarium closes for
Nice.
an animal that is arriving.
Sweet. Yeah, let's jump off. We're at 2 hours. All right.
Yeah, perfect timing.
I will just say MoreliaPythonRadio.com. If you want to get in touch with us, info at MoreliaPythonRadio.com. You can find everything you need to find right there.
Check out all the shows, all the things.
Lots of shows.
Lots of shows. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks,
That's
everybody.
it.
Short and sweet. All
Yeah,
right.
man. All
Thanks
right.
for everyone who joined in. This was a great one, as
Yeah.
always. And we'll keep you posted on whatever schedule changes may or may not come with the show.
Right.
And we'll let you know accordingly. And we'll see y'all some point next week, hopefully.
All right. Enjoy your day.
You're right.
Adios.